Hi, this is Mark from SnowOnly. Today I have Jo Lodder from SnowDog Village and JNW Properties. Jo's based in Hong Kong, but the development is in Niseko. Hey Jo, how are you?
Hey Mark, how's things?
Yeah, very well,
So you went for a run this morning?
I did, indeed.
You went for a good run this morning? Pardon?
Yeah, I have PMA, so that's good.
Good man, well, good man. It's all good. Positive energy. Get out there.
Yeah, no, it was definitely necessary. So, Jo, we've known each other for a little bit of time, and we met kind of in Hong Kong. So, thanks very much for doing this for us. Maybe you want to just explain a little bit about JNW Properties and SnowDog Village, and a little bit about what you're selling in Niseko.
Yeah, SnowDog Village is a project that's already open and running. There are 42 apartments consisting of studios, 1 beds, 2 beds, and 3 beds, which combination of 2 beds and studios connecting. We've been going for a couple of years now. It's been very successful. Obviously this coronavirus has hit us this year, but up until then, we've been very happy with how things have been going. The business model is to fundamentally to build the project, rent it just the same way as a hotel, and then we've been selling individual units to people who are owner occupiers who want a rental income, which has been a very good business model. JNW Properties is the sales and marketing arm that sits above that, and then we have another couple of new projects that will be coming through over the coming years. One called SnowDog Chalets, and another one called Rakoichi. Rakoichi, which is a lot of people will have heard of it. It's a very famous soba restaurant in Niseko, and we're developing that into 12 apartments and 1 townhouse, including the restaurant as well.
Great.
So I'll put a lot going on. Good.
I'll put some links down at the end so anyone can have a look. But for people that kind of know Niseko or Niseko, where exactly are you?
Okay, so in Niseko there's 4 main villages: Hanazono, Hirafu, Niseko Village, and Anampuri. There is also Muiwa, but at the moment that's not the first 4 I mentioned are connected together via you can ski all 4 areas.
That's under Niseko United, right?
Under Niseko United, correct.
Yeah.
So we're located in Niseko Village, which is where SnowDog is. Yeah. In Anampuri, which is where Rakoichi is, and then literally right in the middle between the 2 is where SnowDog Chalets will be.
Yeah, I've been fortunate since I've been based in Asia. I've been fortunate enough to ski in Japan quite a few times, and it is absolutely incredible.
Cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's great skiing.
Yeah, the first time I think we went, my friends and I were just the powder was just insane. Like just nothing we've ever experienced, and we've been skiing for like 25 years, and I was absolutely blown away.
I mean, it's like, as I always say, it's champagne. It's like skiing through champagne. Everything. It's so soft and smooth. I mean, it's such a pity that we've got these issues, with the virus at the moment, and people can't go there because in April we're getting this snow in April now. And
but that's relatively late, is it? Yeah, exactly. That's not normally the case, because I think I went there late March one time, and it was slowing down a lot. But now you're getting late dumps, are you?
We've had amazing dump. I mean, I saw a video yesterday, and it was just incredible. It's just like it was February. But the beauty of when this kind of weather comes and you get this kind of snow, you're also getting the blue days. Whereas in January and February, it tends to just snow the whole time.
But that's always good fun as well.
Yeah.
So just let me pick up on something you said earlier. So you were talking about obviously the rental income. So who does the management of SnowDog Village?
So at the moment it's Ski Japan, who are probably the largest ski travel agents in Japan.
Yeah.
Particularly for foreigners.
Yeah, yeah. So that when there's no option for them people to do it themselves. So when they purchase a property at SnowDog Village, that's
No,
something they must take
it's
on compulsory.
it's set up as a hands-free investment. So, I mean, one of the biggest issues you've got when you're renting anything out, particularly when you're not living in that country, is being able to fill that. And so
Yeah,
so we've set the project up so that it maximizes returns. Also, it allows you to use it whenever you like,
yeah,
and if you don't want to even rent it, you don't have to. So
yeah.
it's very flexible in that format.
So I guess the question then would be to follow on is like, so where are your buyers coming from, and where are the people coming from to rent it?
They're all over the world,
Yeah,
absolutely, totally, and all over the world. We've got,
yeah.
I mean, we have people from. I mean, we did last year. We did this barbecue because I just wanted to get a bit of a feeling of who was there, and
who was near your place?
yeah, who was staying there. So we did this barbecue in the snow, and invited everybody who was staying. And we had film producers from UK. We had a photographer from Whistler with his family there. We have people from Korea. We have people, I mean, all over it, from Argentina, Brazil. I mean, you just wouldn't believe it. I mean,
You
obviously,
never know who's on your doorstep, do you?
you don't know who's on your door. And also, what's interesting, a lot of people who are from like Italy, France, these guys who are skiing in these, you know, they've got this on their doorstep, but they're still choosing to come to Niseko. Funny story, actually, when we were there, four guys arrived, and they're big guys, and we go, oh, come and have a beer with us. They said, oh, no, we've just arrived from Sweden or Scandinavia. I can't remember where exactly. Scandinavia. My wife's just here, she's saying in the corner, she was doing the barbecue. And
She
we
got a
just
prompter.
arrived.
She got a prompter for you.
Yeah, she's got no, because she was the one cooking. She knew what was going on. And anyway, so they arrived. No, we can't come for a beer yet. We're just going to go for a ski. They've just flown 26 hours or something like that to get there. It's dark. They've gone out for a couple of hours. Couple of hours, you know, in floodlight skiing. And
Yeah.
then they came back, and then afterwards they started having a beers with us. And they
But
just said, you know, so obsessed with skiing, these guys were.
But it's funny though, that night skiing is like, you ski a typical day from say 10 till 4. And then just because the night skiing's open, you feel like it's a compulsion then to have to do night skiing as well. So like the first time we went, we ended up skiing from 10 till 8 o'clock at night. And it's just like, when do you ever get a chance to kind of ski in the dark? It's just very rare,
No,
isn't
I mean,
it? It's cold though, it's cold.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks nicer than it is for me. It's so cold.
It is cold. I remember it being really cold, and then obviously
Really
the better you get, the quicker you do the runs, and you spend more time on the chairlift. And I was like, okay, we'll do this for a few days, and then I think we'll just pass over it.
Exactly.
But obviously, we can't have this conversation without the effects of what's going on at the moment. Has your kind of business model changed for the short term, or are you feeling positive for the long term, or what's the thought process, especially after my run and getting a bit of PMA? So you've done your walk this morning. What's your attitude?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty positive about, you know, what's going on. I mean, we're in a different position to the guys who are in Europe, because particularly China have really worked this very well. You know, they got on top of this very quickly, and we're seeing now in China people going back spending money. They're going back out on holiday, not outside of China but within China. We're already seeing this, and interestingly, you know, the Chinese have never, you know, they've been through such hardship, and they've been coming out of this hardship, and this is the first little blip that they've had. They don't want to go back to where they were before. So, you know, they've got a very different mindset to, I think, Europe and America, where everybody's just bunkering down and holding on and thinking, right, how do we get through? These guys are not. They bunkered down very quickly. They did as they were told. They stayed in. They didn't go out. And now they're coming out of it. You know, they're all now the country's opening again. You know, money's being spent from, you know, cosmetics to being we're looking online and seeing all these people, they're going out shopping again, things are coming back to normal, and okay, maybe it's not quite the same as was before, but it's very early stages. I mean, I think that they're not wanting to go back to the 50, when back back to the days when they were, and their only way of going out is to keep things moving, and spend money, and I see that happening. I mean, and interestingly, Japan as well, although because of the Olympics, and they tried to keep the Olympics going, they haven't reacted as quickly. But Japan, they've pledged $1 trillion to soften the blow of what's coming from this, what's come from the virus. Now, for me, my issue or my worry is not necessarily the virus, because we'll get through this. That's not an issue. It's the effect that it has on the, on the economy, the effect it has on the tourism and how that's going. Now, if we look at on a short, just from Asia, on a smaller scale, South Korea has managed this incredibly well. Singapore has managed this well. Hong Kong has managed this well. I mean, I see these core travel hubs opening up. The issue is obviously Europe has not managed it well. America is we still don't know what the effects of that's going to have. So I see tourism coming back quite quickly, and like we discussed before, Thailand I think will come quite quickly. Because of that. I think Japan as a strong economic country is putting money into it. I see actually that. I can see this being better. I mean, a month ago, I was like, whoa. I was like you were before you went for your run. I was like, what's going on? What's going to happen? I just didn't know, because none of us has experienced
No, I
this.
think the unknown is always quite tricky, though, isn't it? It's the unknown, isn't it?
Yeah, but now we're starting to see China coming out. That's the first step. They were the first to get it. Hong Kong is bunkering down a bit now again, unfortunately, because of the influx of the foreigners who fled to Italy and places like, and Europe and America have come back, and unfortunately brought it back to Hong Kong. But they didn't react as quickly as they should, but they've got on top of it. We've still got under 1,000 cases, considering we're a city. We've only had 4 deaths so far. So I mean, I see it's slowing down. So everyone has to go into quarantine. So I see that. So I think I'm hopeful and quite positive about that coming out. That moving forward. Obviously, economy is an issue, and that's always the problem, that people need to go out and spend money.
But Niseko always had quite maybe I'm wrong, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it always seemed like it had quite a lively summer as well. So I assume that's just pretty much written off now, and people are kind of thinking, right, okay, now just concentrate on next season again.
Well, Niseko's summer is more for, it's been much more for the local market. There's a much higher amount.
A lot of mountain biking and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, I don't know. I think realistically is that, when are these countries going to open again? I don't know. It's hard to say. But I think Asia will bounce back quite quickly.
So predominantly, what from a tourist point of view, and even from maybe a buyer's point of view, predominantly what nationality would you rely heavily on the Chinese market to bump up the numbers for Niseko?
Well, normally, no.
Because it's funny, you know what? The first time we went to Niseko, me and my wife were living in Thailand, and on the nursery slopes, and everyone was speaking Thai, and I was like, everyone I've spoken to that's Thai hadn't even seen snow.
Market.
Yeah, it is
Thai's
now,
a big
isn't
market.
it?
Yeah. Thailand, it's actually one of the fastest growing markets there. China obviously is the fastest growing. There is no, well, you can't get away from the fact that you've got, 1 billion people just across the way from you. So, it's not like you know, and you know, it's obviously the fastest growing market now. You know, Thailand is obviously one that's there. Korea is an important market.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Australia is a decreasing market now. They don't have the money that they used to have. Yeah. You know, the exchange rate. And then, you know, Hong Kong, Singapore, the normal areas that are. And interestingly, Indonesia is, you start to see a lot more Indonesians there now as well.
Yeah, I guess a little bit more money, and then they can go and travel, especially places like skiing, right? So from, I was just kind of thinking, so obviously that's a kind of short-term impact. So like, what do you use as kind of like a selling pitch, I guess, for people to kind of invest in Niseko anyway? Do you kind of just push the powder, or is it kind of distance from the airport, or is it the future, the expansions they're going to do? I know there's a lot of hotels coming in, some big hotels as well, obviously coming in. I don't know whether they've started building yet, but I think there's some good brands coming in. Like, do you think the skiing, the thing is, I was always not concerned about, but the size of the skiing area, obviously, I don't think Moy was connected yet, is it? I don't think it is.
No, but there are, I mean, Aman is coming there, and the guy who owns the mountain, he's the plans are there, and they have the money, so I think that will happen.
Yeah. But do you kind of see it as a lot of focus on that mountain, or do you think that people even coming to Niseko will then start to travel to other kind of ski areas?
What you have to remember, Mark, is in the 80s, it had twice as many visitors. Local market.
Wow.
There's so many lifts that aren't open. Even Niseko Village, there's a whole side of the mountain where the lifts aren't open. It's you know, the problem is with a lot of people, they just focus on Harafu, and you know, and that's the only area. But you have the other areas have, you know, a lot of area to expand, and
the thing is, it is a different type of skiing there, isn't it? Because if you go to, I don't know, like where I've skied in Europe, you're kind of looking for these long runs, top to bottom, you know, 30-minute runs. You're just constantly cruising down. And I always kind of thought, oh, I'm going to be limited, obviously, for what we can do. But you don't really ski like that, do you? It's kind of a little bit more, just it's powder fields in the trees and a little bit of a slower pace, than a bit more technical, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. Instead of just finding this, you're not going to find a 20-kilometer blue run, are you? It's just you don't ski like that there.
No. It's like you said. A lot of it, you know, you're either skiing in like, you know, where the tracks are, where it's been compressed. It's just perfect skiing, so you can look like and feel like a professional when you're skiing there, because you know, even the harder tracks are easy, or the pistes.
Yeah, but to be fair,
then,
I think the amount of
trees is something else. Pardon?
No, I'm saying that the amount of powder there certainly makes the falling over a little bit easier, especially if you're learning to snowboard, which I did there. And with that amount of powder, it just doesn't make a difference.
No, that's it. I mean, I learned to snowboard in Sierra Nevada in Spain. Not a good place to learn to snowboard. Or compact ice.
I was about to say. Anyway, Jo, I'm deviating from your development as well, because I obviously want to get it across. So just from a building point of view, obviously from people that are listening, so are all your apartments built yet, or are you still in the building phase? Are there people that can do stage payments? I know that there was, you put on some stuff about financing. Maybe just let everyone know kind of the stages that it's at.
Yeah, so as I said before, we've got SnowDog Village, which is completed, finished, and we have some apartments still available for sale there. They range from around just under $600,000 upwards, which you know, which is, you know, pretty reasonable compared to if you compare to anything else in the area. We're for a 1-bed, 2-bed, we're still way below what other people are selling at. We are skiing, but you've got to be a good skier to come in. You've got to come through the forest or the wood to get there. It's quite fun though. You can ski right up to your door.
Nice.
But but if you're not, we have like a shuttle bus that does everything for you from your door, so you don't have to worry. Now, the finance thing is actually through partners of ours in Hong Kong called Asia Bankers Club.
Yeah.
And they're a real estate company that we partnered with. Unfortunately, we partnered them just as the coronavirus hit, so we actually have had to put a bit of a hold on things. But they do have a 60% finance option for people in Hong Kong. I don't know whether it's for people outside, might be in China as well. I don't know, but Hong Kong for sure. There are certain stipulations, but there is a stick, which is it's a new thing. There aren't many options for finance. And as I predicted before, we talked about this before. I knew it would start coming through finance. So that's great news. So if people are interested, obviously they need to discuss that. We'd put that through the through Asia Bankers Club.
Yeah.
And so on a so they're completed, finished. They're key ready properties. So there's very little case of risk value there, particularly now with what's going on. There must be some thoughts on people's financials because they haven't been able to make sales, they haven't been able to do things, so for us we have fully finished. The other projects we've sort of we're in a situation, very lucky situation, we haven't started building. So we're looking at when we start. May not start this summer depending on what happens, so may have to wait till next summer. But the beauty of this is that we can make that decision based on what's going on with the market. And
but there doesn't seem to be any particular rush for Niseko. I think the future in the long term is pretty strong, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's more for us as looking what it costs us to build. We're hoping that maybe we might get some better deals with builders. That's the thing.
I'm quite interested in this. So, I always take this. I don't know if you've ever been to Verbier, but there's a very there's a picture there's a picture in I can't remember what bar that showed Verbier at the beginning with this tiny little village, big ski run, and then what it is today, which is houses being built in red zones and stuff like that. And I always adopted the same attitude with Niseko. It still feels very much like it's in its infancy, don't you?
I found the same with Niseko.
But there's still so much land at the bottom and stuff, isn't it? I think Niseko will grow and grow and grow. It's definitely not. I think the perception is that people kind of feel like it's, maybe it's reached the peak. But for me, I see it's good. It's so early at the moment still.
Mark, listen, we're really at the early stages. You're absolutely correct with this. It's very interesting because I look at Niseko. It's the only branded resort in Asia, ski resort. When I'm looking at this, I'm comparing it to the likes of Verbier, because when I look at where Verbier's come from and where it is now, where Val d'Isère's come from and where it is now, it's no different. We've grown, we've got brands coming in, just near to where we are, we have the Hilton, we've got Ritz-Carlton opens in December this year, and we've got Amman coming, as you know. Park Hyatt's opened this year, which is a tough year, obviously, for them to open up, but they opened up, and they had a great. They've been having good reviews, as we have. Our reviews have been 5-star. We're really, really happy with our reviews as well. So, and interestingly. And there are plans for other brands coming as well, which when brands start coming, things start changing. And up until now, Niseko has been fundamentally run by travel agents. It's been a travel agent center, but now the professionals are coming in and the whole thing.
But it's been a very local market, hasn't it? People that are running it's a very local market, but now obviously you're going to have the likes agents. You're going to have the likes of Amman that's going to, I can't imagine the price point of an Amman property. I think the one in, I think
20 million US.
Well, I think average price of Amampuri in Phuket, Thailand is probably 20 million US, you know, something along those lines. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much that kind of pushes the price per square metre up, and what would, I guess, be perceived as overpriced now will be a bargain.
Well, you know, Mark, when I think it's Verbier, when Ritz-Carlton opened in Verbier, it totally changed the price point.
The W.
W, sorry, not Ritz, it's W. It changed the price points for not just for the nightly rates, but also for property prices.
They went from 30 million euros to 40 million euros.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I mean, there are other areas that you can look at, and you know, you can see this happening. You know, you can see it happening in areas like Koh Samui, for instance. You know, 15 years ago, things started changing there, and then, you know, you saw price points really sort of rapidly.
No, look, I mean, we know that I was a broker in Phuket for 10 years, and it changed phenomenally. It's just crazy. Like, you know, people were still making inquiries and saying, I'd like a 4-bedroom on the beach for about 300,000. I'm like, that's about $6 million. They just couldn't really get their heads around it. And
it moves so quickly.
Yeah, and once they open up the airports and stuff like that, I think obviously once you let in more tourism, and then there's a greater demand for property, and there's been some real success. And but as I said, I think with Niseko, I still feel like it's fundamentally at the beginning rather than at the end, which I think a lot of people, you know, as I said to you before, people are kind of looking for these golden nuggets of ski resorts, but I think that Niseko will always be the flagship, because it's going to have the brands that are with it, and it's always going to stay ahead of the rest. So I think it's a very good place to. I know some people have invested there and made some really good money, but I see a very bright future. Yeah, very bright future.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, really, we're looking at a blip with regards to, you know, this isn't, you know, you know, the coronavirus is going to go away. You know, whatever happens, someone will find a cure for it, and as long as people do as they're told, it'll get contained.
Yeah,
tourism will start opening up again. You know, maybe the world economy will have some issues, but the beauty of tourism is you're not always relying on one area. You know, so where one area isn't doing so well, other areas pop up, you know, and we've got China that is starting to open up again, and from a point of view from us personally, we haven't really looked at China, but then, you know, but from a tourist point of view, you know, they are going to start traveling, and they're already going to Niseko anyway.
Agreed.
You know, and then we look at Asia really, it's, you know, we are ahead of the game.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to run out of time soon. I said half an hour, and I know, Joe, you and I tend to like to talk for 2 to 3 hours rather than half an hour.
Yeah.
I guess the thing I always like to leave with, we wrote an article on it the other day, which is, for me, with ski properties, I think what a ski property is representing, and this is obviously glass half full, but what a ski property is just, you know, it's quality time spent with family and friends, it's exercise, it's fresh air, it's fun, it's travel, it's adventure. I guess all the things that people just don't really have at the moment. And I think that once people are allowed to travel and stuff, you know, me and my friends are already talking about where we're going to go skiing. The first thing we want to do is go skiing again. I think hopefully there'll be a big rush once everyone does that. And then obviously from a property point of view, it's where you create your happy anchors with people and quality time memories with family and friends, of which you and I probably have done so many times. You know, it works. So I hope that after this, that maybe the ski property market was not stagnant, but I think that it might just give people a little bit of a change in their mentality to realise and appreciate what a ski property can bring to people. That's what my thought, and probably because I'm in the industry, but I genuinely believe it. So anyway, that's my final thoughts. Anyone's from you before I switch off?
No, there's not. I mean, there's not. We've got some owners who are actually going you know, they're stuck in, they're in Tokyo because they bought, but they're going to go and stay in the holiday place because they might as well be confined in their holiday place in a beautiful countryside and in, you know, in Tokyo. So, you know, there's always you know, pros and cons from all of these things. And from our, you know, from our point of view, what we're trying to do is sell people a good investment in a strong area, and, you know, and something where you can, a holiday home where you can use it and make money fundamentally. And you know,
and,
okay,
and have a very
even
good
though we've
time
got a
doing
blip,
it.
it's not, it's, yeah, and a very good time. And this is just a blip in the whole thing, you know, in the long term view, you know, long term prospect of everything we're looking at. You know, this is just a short blip in that time.
Well, look, I'll put all your links on when I share this around. I'll put the links on.
Thank
And if you want to contact Joe directly, I'll put it on his email address so you can contact him and ask him any questions. But Joe, thanks very much for your time today. Our time's obviously running out. Nice to promote SnowDog Village, and hopefully we can all be in Niseko Village, even at your place, skiing, hopefully next season.
Or we'll go running up Mount Yote. That's a hard one, I can tell you.
I'm up for it. I'm up for it.
It might be a walk.
My back is. I've had a bad back for a week, and now it's fine. And now I'm going to get my running shoes on again. So honestly, I look forward to that. I see it on your Facebook all the time that you're up a mountain. I kind of think I want to be up that mountain.
Well, when you come over next Hong Kong, we'll have a barbecue because it'll all be good then, and then we'll go. Well, we'll go before. I'll take you up some of the hills. They're pretty amazing.
All right, mate. Well, look, stay safe, and hopefully it'll be over soon. All right, take care.
Cool. Take care. Thank you.
See you,
bye.
bye.